In the next few video clips we're going to look at the manoeuvres. So all the phase 1 manoeuvres, you'll have the turn on the road, which is PST number 3, reversing to the left or to the right, PST number 4, and then you've got the emergency stop and use of mirrors, which is PST number 5. Okay, so we're going to kind of do a wee kind of overall of all of them in the first clip, and then we'll do individual briefs from then on. So the thing to bear in mind with all the manoeuvres is that he would have had a little bit of experience. The scenario will be something like he's had maybe 8 to 10 lessons. He can do various junctions and some roundabouts, and he's getting on fairly well, really. He knows all about his hazard rules, so the idea is that you can ask him some questions regarding that, just to kind of, you know, it's just good practice to satisfy yourself that he actually has some kind of knowledge of what he has to do. So anything that he kind of says to you through his introduction, it's always good to repeat that. So if he says that he's done something, or he's had X amount of lessons, or you just ask him, you know, when you go into roll, you ask him about that. So you just recap basically what he said to you. So yeah, you'll have something around maybe 8, 10, maybe 12 lessons, something like that. He's getting on quite well, and the lesson is going to be on whatever. So the choice is turn on the road, reversing to the left or to the right, emergency stop and use of mirrors. So with all of these 3 PSTs, you will drive, the learner will drive to the area. So you'll go through your introduction, your personal greeting, you'll clarify the lesson, and introduce a plan of action for that particular lesson. So that'll always go along the same lines regardless of what the lesson's going to be. The idea is that you're going to drive off to an area, and once you get there, that's where you'll give the brief. And once you've given the brief, you'll do a wee bit of practice. So you'll have 2 or 3 attempts at it, with lots of help and support to begin with, and hopefully reduce the level of instruction as the lesson progresses, as you normally do basically. So that's covering all kind of 3 of them basically. And just the one with the emergency stop and use of mirrors, you would have a chat about the mirrors first of all. So as he's going through his cockpit drill basically, you can have a wee chat of how to set them up. So he'll do his doors, his handbrake, his seat, steering, seat belt, and you know, as he's setting up his mirrors, that's when you can kick in with some kind of Q&A regarding setting them up, what he's looking for, what he's supposed to see, does he know they're checked in pairs, do they know why we use them, where we use them, when we use them, that kind of thing. So that'll go into a bit more detail when we go into that particular brief basically. Okay, so what we'll look at first is the turn on the road. So we'll do a turn on the road brief for you just now. I'll do a little bit of an introduction and a plan of action, and I'll pretend that we've driven off to the area, and then we'll give the brief basically. Okay, so we're going to start with that, the turn on the road exercise. Okay, so we're just going to go into roll as normal, as we've done before. I'll play the 2 parts, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Hello John, my name's Innes. Is it okay if I call you John? Yes, that's fine. It's okay to call me John. I believe your other instructor can't be here today, so I've stepped in to take the lesson for you. He did say that you'll be familiar with the make and model of the car because I've got the same car as he does. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. He's got the same car as this, so I know where everything is. Excellent. Well, that's great. And he also told me that today's lesson was going to be on the turn on the road exercise. Is that correct? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he said we're going to cover that today. Okay, that's good. So, well, that's what we're going to cover today. What we'll do first of all is we'll ask you a few questions to begin with, just to get a bit of background knowledge and see what you've done previously. Once we've done that, we're going to drive off to an area, and while we drive there, I'll take a look at your general driving just to make sure it's okay, and I'll pick up any kind of faults that are there, if any at all. Okay, we'll just have a look at that and make sure everything's all right. But once we get to the training area, we'll pull up and we'll give you a proper brief on the turn on the road exercise, and from there we'll put it into practice. So we'll have 2 or 3 attempts at it, with me giving you lots of help and support to begin with, and hopefully as the lesson progresses I'll reduce that level of instruction, and by the end of the lesson you'll have a good idea of how to combat that yourself, basically. Okay, how does that sound to you? Well, that sounds great, that's fine. Right then, so if you want to go through your cockpit, Joe, okay, and we'll get underway. Okay, so there we are, there's your first bit of your personal introduction. Something along these lines, doesn't have to be exact or perfect, but it's just the same thing as you normally do, really. So once you do that, you're going to drive off to an area. Things to recognise are faults related to the lesson. Okay, so for instance, blind spot checks. So all manoeuvres cover 3 specific things: observation, control and accuracy. Okay, so observational faults. As he moves out of the car park, it's highly likely that he's not going to check his blind spot unless you maybe give him a wee prompt there, or certainly keep an eye on him and watch him, and if he hasn't checked his blind spot, you'll say stop and ask him where he hasn't checked, or prompt him in some kind of way to make sure that he's aware that he's not checked his blind spot. So other things to look at are, again, control faults. So maybe a little bit excessive on the gas pedal as he's moving off, or a little bit sharp off the clutch pedal. So that's all related to the lesson. So as he drives to the area, there shouldn't really be any kind of faults that need any kind of lengthy conversation, because the lesson's on the manoeuvre. So that's where the faults are going to be. But yeah, to make things realistic, they kind of throw in faults that are related to the lesson. So that's what to look for as he drives to the area. So be ready for him not checking his blind spot. Be ready for him being heavy on the gas and a bit sharp off the clutch and things like that, basically. Okay. So once you get there, he'll advise that you've reached the area and that this is where we're going to carry out the exercise. Okay, so again, you can do a little bit of a recap on that, about the drive there. If he was a bit excessive on the gas, or a bit sharp off the clutch, or you can do a bit of recapping on that once you get there. And that's really fine, because that's not really the issue, because the issue's on the lesson. That's the thing. So the faults are going to happen on the turn of the road. That's where you're going to have the sort of pass or fail issue. The drive there isn't going to be too much of a problem. Okay, so we're going to pretend that we've driven to the area and we've now stopped. I've done a bit of a recap, and I'm going to go into the brief for the turn on the road exercise. Okay, so we'll start from there and we'll see how that goes. Okay, right then, John, now that we've reached the training area, this is where we're going to carry out the exercise for the turn on the road. Okay, so it's commonly known as the 3-point turn. Everyone kind of knows it as a 3-point turn, but the proper name is the turn on the road, because it doesn't have to be done in 3 points. If the road's quite narrow, it might have to be done in 5. Yeah, it all really depends on the width of the road, but if the road's wide enough, you'll certainly be expected to do it in 3. Okay, so we're going to introduce that to you, and we're going to give you a wee bit of a brief first of all. Okay, so we'll explain a little bit of what we're going to do for that. So if I get my wee presenter here, make sure that you can see it. Okay, not dazzling with the light. Okay, so imagine that there's us here. Okay, what we want to achieve is going forward across to position number 2, driving back to position number 3, and driving forward again into position number 4. Okay, so that's your 3-point turn, basically, the turn on the road exercise. Okay, but a couple of things to bear in mind before we actually go into any detail of that is the purpose and location for this manoeuvre. So why do this manoeuvre? What's the point of this manoeuvre? Oh, I suppose you might have to turn the car around. Yeah, you might have to turn the car around, that's right. You might have come down a one-way, a dead-end road. You might have reached a dead end and you have to turn the car around. Or maybe you've gone the wrong way, and you want to turn the car around. So let's imagine you've gone the wrong way and you need to turn the car around. Think about what kind of location would you look for to do this? Oh, I suppose it'd be a quiet location. Well, yeah, there's 3 things that we look for. Okay, it's S, L and C. So S, L and C, and that means safe, legal and convenient. Okay, so can you think of an unsafe place to do a turn on the road exercise? Oh, if it was a really busy road. Well, yeah, possibly, yeah. If it was a major road, if you're on a major A road, for instance, you're not going to start doing that in the middle of the A9, for instance. Yeah, that would be a bit unsafe, wouldn't it? I suppose that would be unsafe, aye. And think about legal. What would be an illegal place to do a turn on the road? Oh, a one-way street. That's right, yeah, one-way street, because you wouldn't be able to turn back on a one-way street, yeah. So that'd be legal. Anywhere else? I'm not sure. Well, there's not really many places that would be illegal. One-way street would certainly be one of them, yeah. But generally, as long as it's a safe and there's nothing there, what you're going to look for of maybe bus stops, for instance, that wouldn't be illegal, but it would be a bit inconvenient, yeah. So there's where the convenient comes into it, yeah. And again, if it's very busy, that's inconvenient. Let's say, like, if you're doing it, you know, next to driveways, for instance, yeah. So you're blocking driveways, so that would be other aspects of maybe it being inconvenient. Okay, so that's the kind of things you're looking for. You're looking for a safe, legal, and convenient place to turn the car around if you need to do that. Okay, so there's other things that we look for when we're actually going to do this manoeuvre, and that's observation, control, and accuracy. Okay, so regardless of whatever manoeuvre you're going to be doing, these three things always come into play. So we need good observations, good control, and accuracy. Okay, so have you done any other manoeuvres in the past? I've done the reversing in a straight line. Well, that's good. Okay, that's because that's going to come in handy today. Okay, because we're going to be reversing in this part of the manoeuvre. Anything else? I'm not sure. I don't think so. No, not else. How about an angled start? Actually, yeah. Is that the one that moves off from the part behind the car? That's right, yeah, from behind a parked car, you're moving off in the angle. Yeah, so you're behind the parked vehicle and you're moving off and driving away from behind that parked car. I've done that actually, yeah, I've done that before. Well, the skills that you used moving off there and with the straight line reverse are the same skills that you're going to use today. So how did you control the car when you were moving off on the angle? I've done this kind of clutch control business. Right, okay, yeah, what's that clutch control business? That thing, you have to go up and down with the clutch. Alright, yeah, okay, yeah, I get that, okay. There's a name that we call that, it's called the pound coin method. Have you heard of that before? Oh, no, never heard it called that before, no. Well, the pound coin method is something similar to what you're kind of talking about. You find the biting point, and you use the biting point and you move the clutch the width of a pound coin. So you move it up the width of a pound coin to move forward, and then you dip it down the width of a pound coin to slow. Okay, so you go up a pound to go and down a pound to slow. Yeah, and that's what I think you're meaning about the clutch control business. That sounds about right. So that's the kind of things that we're looking for today. Yeah, and to be accurate with it, we're going to look for some markers. Okay, so imagine again that we're here. We're going to prepare the car as normal. So it's P-O-N-M. Heard of that? I prepare, observe, and move. Right then, yeah. So prepare the car, observe, and move off as you normally do. But we're not going to be driving away. We're going to be coming over to position number 2. Okay, so this is your clutch control business, going in the pound coin method, because we've got the camber to deal with. Have you ever heard of the camber of the road? Oh no, I don't know. I have no idea what that is. Well, the camber of the road is, if you look at the road just now, you'll see it's sloped on both sides, just like it is here. So you've got this high bit in the middle. There's a pivot point. So you've got to climb the camber, and then you've got to go down the camber. So you're using your clutch control to climb, and then you're going to use your brakes to then go down the camber. And then on the way back, same idea, you're going to climb the camber and then go down. So you're always using the clutch control to climb, and then as you get to the pivot point in the middle, you're going to be putting your clutch pedal dipped down and using your brakes to actually go down the camber. Okay, so that's something to think about. So full lock as soon as you start to move, okay, and the car's going to move across to the other side, position number 2. And as we start to get about halfway across, we're going to have a wee glance up the road just to make sure things are safe. Okay, and we're going to find a marker for you. So I'm going to tell you when to stop. Okay, and we're going to find a marker of where you're going to steer and then stop. So we get just short of the curb, okay, and we start to straighten up our wheels, and then we'll stop. Okay, and I'll give you some reference points of that, so you'll know, because the curb appears from the front of the car and you can't see it. So we'll explain a little bit as we do that. It makes more sense when we do it. Okay, so we'll come across, good clutch control to come across, full lock on the steering, nice and briskly, and then down towards the curb, and I'll give you some information and find some references for you for steering and stopping. Okay, once you have stopped, make it safe. Okay, and how do you do that? handbrake and neutral. Excellent, handbrake and neutral, that's it, very good. And then we're going to select reverse gear and we do the same thing, prepare, observe and move. But when you go backwards, where's the place you're going to look when you go backwards? I suppose backwards. Yeah, well, at the back window, yeah. When you go forward, you look at the front window. When you go back, you look at the back window. So where were you looking when you were doing your straight line reverse? Oh, at the back window. Yeah, exactly. So you look at the straight line reverse marker would have been, the care would have been around the middle. Yeah. Oh, yes, right, yeah. So, same thing again. Looking at the back window, we're going to come back nice and slowly in our clutch control. Full lock on the steering. Okay, going to the left this time. And bringing the car back. And once again, when we get about halfway, we're going to turn our head. So if you look down here, we're looking at the back window to begin with, and then we're looking at the rear side. As we come across the centre of the road, we're going to look out the rear side window on the right. So it's going to be over here. And again, I'm going to get a marker for you. So we're going to get a marker to steer and a marker to stop. Okay, and then once we've done that, we'll make it safe. And when you make it safe, we prepare, observe and move again exactly the same way. Get the car ready to go. Again, looking up and down the road, making sure it's safe. And if it is, we can drive on and we steer as much as is necessary to bring us over and towards position number 4, and we'll pull up at the side of the road. I'll have a chat about it once we've done it. Okie dokie. Any questions for that? Oh, that sounds great. Okay. So there we are. That's a little example of the turn in the road aspects. Yeah, you're emphasising the control and the clutch control. You're emphasising sort of observations and where to look, and you're emphasising that you're going to find some reference points for them. So the idea is that you use your experience to know when to stop, and then once he's stopped, you can get him to look and see what he can see. So normally, again, you're going to look under the mirror, for example, and you'll see the curbstone under the mirror. And that's usually a good time to actually start steering. And as you move forward an extra foot, that gives you, again, a bit, you know, the mirror moves into the pavement about an extra foot, and that's the time where it stops. So you've got two references, a reference of steering and a reference for stopping. Yeah, but they find them for themselves because everyone sits in different places, so it's always going to be a little bit different for everybody. Okie dokie. So there's your turn the road exercise. I hope that is a benefit to you. Okay.